Kenny Green, raw perspective, concrete, and still, like always, keeping the people informed. Check this out, right? This is a different kind of story, but I like this story. And I like it is because justice is trying to prevail in the situation. A lot of us had acreage connected to us through great-grandparents. There's a lot of us that if we spoke to some of the elders, we would know that we're connected to land. Years ago, I mean, this story starts in the 1800s, right? Now, this guy, Neiman Youngblood, his ancestors bought some property after they were freed from slavery, 147 acres, right? So they passed it on down to, when he passed, he gave half to his wife, half to the children, right? The wife borrowed $300 from a white lender. After she died, they claim that now they own half of that land. And nobody challenged it, so the deed and everything just kept going, right? So ConocoPhillips decided, hey man, we're gonna lease this. So they went to the white family, which is the K-O-T-H, Koch, something like that, right? And they signed the lease, right? And with some of the children. But then later, they said, because they paid the taxes and they purchased the other acreage from the children for $735, a lie. But remember, when lies are not challenged, sometimes they go as truth. And this is why you have to fight for truth. You know what I'm saying? This whole story is a story that probably a lot of us live in, but we don't even know we living in it because we never took the time to follow up and possibly challenge some of the deeds and the transfers of times when people might have considered us ignorant. It's not that we was ignorant. We just didn't have the means to fight on an even playing field. Let me first tell you who's bringing the lawsuit of $900 million to ConocoPhillips, the oil company, right? And the guy, Neiman, right? His name is Neiman Youngblood. He co-founder of a $1 billion Pharaoh's Capital Group fund. So he's in the money, but this is about family legacy. This is about righting some wrongs. And I think, when you have to really look at in the big scope, just like, hey, nobody want nobody to take nothing from themselves, you, your family, and he has the means to fight. This family purchased 147 acres. So it's hard, people make claims that this belongs to them, because if nobody there to speak up, and in those times, you had to be careful about speaking up. And this is the thing. ConocoPhillips is an oil company, and this land is soaked with oil. Man, look, I hope justice prevails in this, man, because it's a story that we don't really put in the forefront because we, really put our attention to a whole lot of other things. So this is a story that must be passed around. It must be heard, you know what I mean? And it just teaches you that sometimes, man, you're going to have to fight for what is right. The truth will prevail. But if nobody, insists on it or pushes it forward, it'll lay underground for a long time. So like I said, I commend this gentleman for stepping up and trying to right the wrong, because a lot of time has passed. And what this is showing you is that no matter how much time has passed, still be prepared to fight for what your ancestors, what is justly yours. Sometimes you have to look up things. This is why it's important to talk to grandparents, and great-grandparents and different, people in your family to find out what it's all about. Because sometimes if it's not right in our face, we tend to ignore it. But we have to sometimes understand the family history, the origin, because there's a lot of things that were taken that if you maybe go to the court and you do some legacy work, you might find something out. You might find that you have something coming, and all you got to do is make the proper claim. be honorable to his ancestors or what they left and try to retain it back. So he's suing for $900 million. You know what I'm saying? The reason why this story is important is because a lot of us are in this story, whether we know it or not. Land that we had, property that we had that wasn't dealt right, whether it was taken from us, whether we walked away through fear. It's just good to know. So we have to respect, understand, acknowledge, and talk to older people to understand the history of certain things that we are attached to. And even if you cannot own it back, at least you know what happened and what your family was a part of, the legacy. You know what I mean? So check that out and be keeping it good and raw all the time.